All right. So when there's a few weeks that go by between classes, I have a lot of time to like percolate and think about what it is that I want to bring in when we're all together. And last time that we were together, I was right after class. We had a conversation that actually was initiated by my uncle Andy, who's here, and he was bringing up a question about falling safely, and like how can we practice, especially for seniors, like how to fall in a way where we can learn how to adapt to those unexpected moments, the bumps, the wobbles, and kind of trust that our bodies can adapt in those moments a bit more. So that conversation got me kind of jazzed and had me playing over the last 2 weeks of like, where on our yoga mat might we be practicing that? And can we kind of embellish that a little bit more? And I was thinking about, when we're learning new things, especially like think about children who are learning to walk, the experience of learning something new involves learning something falling down, trying, messing up, right? Like it's that practice of being in the uncomfortable edge and doing something kind of new that allows us to ultimately become comfortable in that new experience, right? And so, of course, toddlers are a lot closer to the ground. Falling doesn't feel so threatening and so scary to them as it might for us. But we'll play a little bit with some kind of wobbles and being out of balance, a little closer to the ground and a little further from the ground today, and exploring what happens when we wobble a little bit and what is required in our body to help us navigate those moments. I also just want to say just a little bit. A lot of you know that I speak a lot about vagus nerve and vagus nerve yoga, and to kind of just tie together one piece here, which is when we're working with the vagus nerve, we're really tending to like understand what's the neurophysiology of our practice. Why does yoga work? How does yoga work? What are we exploring in terms of accessing the capacities within us to feel more calm and connected and capable and confident internally and in our relationships with others? How do we tap into a sense of resilience at a physiological level? And I think that the yoga is such a beautiful piece because we're working from the bottom up. We're really working with creating new ways of breathing and new ways of moving that are getting into the lower brain, into the brain stem. And what's beautiful about balance and play is that a lot of that is helping us connect to the cerebellum, or what we call the little brain, right? So right down in the brain stem, we're creating all of these new patterns and pathways that are allowing us to then, we practice it on the mat, but then they become more accessible when we're off the mat. And whether the wobble is because we slipped on some ice or because the wobble was a interpersonal challenge, right? Like we get into a conflict or we disappoint someone or someone is upset with us because of something that we did. And how do we navigate those wobbles of the interpersonal arena with equanimity and with maintaining a sense of this is me and that's you, and how do I engage in empathy and compassion in a way that is really serving self and serving other. So I think it's a both and, it's an all and, right? One more piece just about like the fascination with the vagus nerve and the neurophysiology is that when we're looking at kind of the pathways and how this breath works or how a posture might works, it's kind of like trying to understand an instrument. So if we're fine tuning a violin and we're really working on, where's the bridge and how are the strings aligned and how do all of the parts of the violin work? That's a beautiful study in itself. But what's the purpose of the violin is to play, is to make music. And so when we get onto our yoga mat, now we can actually kind of trust that we've got our instrument and we're going to dive into a playful experience. And that's the focus for today, is play. And to remember that, children, well, they're playing all the time, right? Like that's just how they learn. But sometimes as adults, we get out of our playful, creative space and mind. And so that's the invitation, is to come play with me, to come play in this community, and to explore. Sometimes the play involves kind of getting a little uncomfortable, doing something a little bit new, meeting the edge of the comfort zone, and not knowing what's going to happen next. And I think that's the most beautiful aspect of the play mindset, is to be in the unknown. We have so many classes that we might take where we know where something's going. And I gave you all a little preview of where we might go today, but you don't really know. And in some ways, I don't always know where we're going. We're going to arrive at someplace new together. So, all right. I'm going to just invite you to sit with those words, see how they've landed, notice what you're bringing into this space. And I'll offer kind of one more little tender tidbit here, which is that, we are at the 1-year anniversary this week of our pandemic. We have lost in this country alone, over, 500,000 people, right? In our world, over 2 million. The tremendous amount of grief and loss that has been at large during this time is in so many ways unfathomable, undigestible. And yet, as you can see behind me, the flowers still bloom. We're still emerging into spring. We're trying to find our way out of this. Many of us are finally feeling the freedom to be able to see friends and move outside of the constriction of this time. And I think the piece that I want to name is, why play in the midst of so much grief? Because it helps us with our own resilience. It helps us tap into the internal capacity to adapt well in the face of challenge. And if we don't give ourselves permission to have joy as well as grief, I think we are doing a disservice to not only ourselves, but truly the world. So that's a bit of the kind of maybe the argument for why play now. All right, so come on in, just see what you're bringing into this space. What is most alive for you right now? What are you hoping to get out of our precious time together? Many of you know I like to bring poetry into our classes and kind of into my world in general. And when I thought about a playful poem, I couldn't help but think about one of the most playful poets out there, which is Shel Silverstein. And so I collected just a few gems from Shel Silverstein to set our theme for today. The first is called Falling Up. I tripped on a shoelace and I fell up to the rooftops, up over the town, up past the treetops, up over the mountains, up where the colors blend into the sounds. But it got me so dizzy when I looked around. I got sick to my stomach and I threw down. All right, hopefully no sick to our stomachs today, but a little playful theme, falling up. Listen to the mustn'ts. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. Then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. Take risks like Alice. Alice, she drank from a bottle called Drink Me, and she grew so tall. She ate from a plate called Taste Me, and down she shrank so small. And so she changed, while other folks never tried nothing at all. Underface. Underneath my outside face, there is a face that none can see. A little less smiley, a little less sure, but a whole lot more like me. And that's the invitation here, to get in touch with what's true. I'm going to shift back onto my mat, and we'll get ready to do some movement and some play together. Hopefully, you can all still hear me just fine, and if for some reason you can't, you'll just let me know somehow, okay? You can put it in the chat or wave my hand or unmute briefly. So let's start just by wiggling it out a little bit. Just allow yourself to arrive, shake. You can wiggle your arms. You can wiggle out through your shoulders. Maybe rock a little side to side, sits bone to sits bone. Wiggle out your voice. So any time that we feel a little afraid, we often constrict, right? We start to hold. We hold in the chest. We hold in the belly. We hold in the hips and the diaphragm. We hold our breath. So just catching where some of those holdings happen. Sometimes we hold so long, we don't even realize we're holding. And so allowing yourself to just tune in, track, notice, and sigh it out. Let your tongue be soft. Your jaw can let it go. Catch the underface. A little less smiley, a little more like yourself, right? And then we'll just find a few rotations, just allowing yourself to greet your hips, your spine as you are, where you are. You can inhale forward, exhale back, but there's no right or wrong. Listening to how your body wants to wake up or process the day. Some of you, it's morning, sometimes it's afternoon, right? Just arriving. Let's go the other way. Good. And then a few seated cat-cows. I'll just from the side here, just allowing your spine to come forward and back. Noticing how it feels to roll over the sits bones, how your hips are with this movement. And if you need to be in a chair or have your legs in front of you, we can adapt all of this. Just finding the fluidity for a little bit in spine. Maybe hands to shoulders. You can open up and draw it in. You can grow a little bit like Alice and shrink a little bit. Expand and contract. It's how we grow as well, how we change. And then maybe open your arms wide. Press it all to midline. Inhale, expand. Exhale. One more like that. Good. And we'll greet our side bodies. So you can take one arm to the side, give a little lean in. You can take the opposite hand on the hip. Maybe look down or up. You might take that opposite arm up overhead. And up and over. So it's just a real brief visit to all the directions of the spine. Let's go the other way. So we have flexion, extension. We have our side bends. We'll find a few twists. Waking up. Good. And then coming up and out of this side. Let's draw both arms up overhead. And for a few breaths here, we're going to exhale one side. Inhale through center. Exhale the other way. Let your gaze follow. Good. And this time we'll inhale center. And exhale to one side. I'm on my right, doesn't really matter. Just finding a side. One hand behind you, the other on the knee. And you can explore with your gaze, maybe taking it to the untwist side and then towards the twist side, right? So if your right hand is back, maybe you gaze to the left and then gaze to the right. You can arc your shoulder, arc your chin up and around. Shoulder to shoulder. Good. And then a brief pause in your twist. And we'll take this into a side bend. So some of you have done this with me. We're going to keep the hand hooked on the knee and come up and over. So here, my left shoulder is coming towards my left knee. Right arm is up overhead. And a beautiful place to tune back into the side body in this twist. Maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down. And we'll come up and out, unwind, maybe a shoulder roll. And then sweeping the arms up. Let's find side two, turning towards the second side, fingers behind, hand on the knee, and you can explore gazing away and towards your twist. Maybe you arc your chin up and around. And then deepen into the twist on this side. And then we'll take it into a lean as you draw. In this case, it's my right shoulder towards my right knee and left arm is coming up and over. Always exploring whether you want to gaze down, forward, or up. You might find some intuitive movements here. Beautiful. Coming back up, and we'll unwind once again. Just let your shoulders roll it out. Let's take the right leg out front for a second. So we're just going to give a gentle, contactful massage. Top of the leg, bottom of the leg, the calf, the shin, all the way down to your foot. And then we'll extend that right leg long. So we're not going to do your deepest forward fold here. This is just a greeting of the leg and the hamstring. So you might begin to come into the what seems like a forward fold toward that right leg, a little head to knee pose, Jana Shirsasana, but nothing forced. It's a wiggly pose. We can come towards and away. Just getting to know the back of your right leg and what's alive here for you. And we'll take this into a variation. So coming back up and this time taking side body. So you might widen your stance just a little. Side body towards the right leg, and you can take your right hand down. Left hand maybe on your hip or up overhead. So we've greeted this in the spine. Now we're adding the leg in. And not your deepest side bend either, just a moment to know what's in your body today. All right, and we'll find side two. We can rebend the right leg, take your left leg in front, nice bend in the leg, and go massage your hamstring, your quadricep, your knee, love your knee, your shin, and calf, and ankle, and foot. And then perhaps sending that leg long and just noticing side two. This side might have a different story to tell. So we're here to listen. And you can find a semblance of that forward fold, a wiggly one. Coming back out and maybe widening that stance, and we'll find this through the side body. So we're leaning left side towards the left leg. You can take your hand on top or on the inside. Maybe the right arm comes up and over. Just greeting your body. Well, fabulous. All right, let's come back up. We're going to take the legs out in front and we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. So arriving on your back and allowing yourself to just bend the knees. Now, if you have a block, it can be nice here. You do not need it for this, but it's an option. So I'll show this one with the block and you can choose your own version here. And with the block, or without, the soles of the feet on the floor, the hands behind the head, we're going to wake up into the core of the body. It's going to be really beneficial when we come into some of our balancing shapes, right? So inhale and exhale just straight up toward the ceiling. Inhale, we lower. Exhale, you're just lifting right up and then down. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you lower, waking up through the muscles. And so even if you don't have a block, if you put a little pillow or a towel, when we squeeze the inner thighs, those are connecting to the deepest core muscles as well. And you can continue this movement just as we are with the soles of the feet down, or you might take the feet off the earth and just change it up. So again, upper body is just lifting straight up. Inhale down. Good. We're going to lower upper body. We're going to lower through the legs. And we're going to change this one up a little bit. So in this next version, we're going to take the arms up overhead on the inhale. On an exhale, we're going to sweep them forward, lifting through the upper body and the shoulders. Staying here, maybe lifting the feet to an angle. We're going to lower the feet, take one more lift of the upper body, and then lower through the upper body. All right, let's do this with the breath. Inhale. Exhale to lift the upper body. Hold. Inhale to extend the legs. Exhale, we lower the feet. Inhale, one more little lift. Exhale, let's lower. Draw the arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale to lift. Upper body. Holding here. Inhale to lengthen the legs. Exhale, let's lower the legs. Let's lift the upper body a little bit more. And then lower it down. Inhale. Rest for a moment. Inhale here. Exhale, lifting through the upper body. Inhale, lengthen the legs. Exhale, lower the legs. Keep the upper body lifted. One more lift of the upper body. All right, let's lower it down. Relax here, a breath. And again, exhale, lifting the upper body. Inhale, lengthening the legs. Lowering the feet. Let's lift the upper body a little. Lower it down, arms overhead. Okay, one more challenge here. Hands behind the head. Inhale here. Exhale, we're going to take right elbow towards the left leg, towards the left knee. Now the feet are on the floor. Now from here, keep the upper body lifted, lengthen the legs at an angle, lower the feet, lower the upper body. Let's take it to the other side. Left elbow towards the right side, holding here. Lengthen through the legs at an angle. Lower the feet, lower the upper body. Right elbow towards the left side. Lengthen through the legs. Exhale, lower the feet. Lower through your upper body. Left elbow, right side. Lengthen through the legs. Lower through the legs. Lower the upper body. One more time each side. Right elbow to left. Lengthen the legs. Lower the legs. Lower the upper body. Exhale to the right. Lengthen the legs. Lower the legs. Lower the upper body. Remove the block if you have it. Just shake it out for a moment. And then hands behind your knees. A little rock on the spine, maybe one or two. And then we'll find a little balance spot right behind the sits bones for Navasana. And in our Navasana, we can always keep the toes on the floor, right? There's options here. Or you might lean back and take those shins parallel. You might stay here. You might take the arms and free them, let them be parallel. Or you might even lengthen it out, find a little balance here. Notice all the engagement of the core for balance, whatever version you're taking. And then exhale, let's roll over the shins and we'll meet in a tabletop. When you arrive in your tabletop, a lovely place just to wiggle it out, right? Breathing that we've warmed up through the spine, we've warmed up through the core of the body, and just allowing yourself to move instinctually, intuitively, to integrate what we've done so far. Good. From here, I'm going to invite you to curl your toes under and then walk your hips back. We'll come into a toes pose. Toes pose, you might reach around, untuck your pinky toes. We're opening up through the fascia and the bottoms of the feet. When we open up fascia anywhere, it has resonance and translation all throughout the body. How exciting that is. But our waking up our feet and our ankles is going to be very instrumental for today. So you might stay right here. Some of you might be here going, well, that was a lot, Ariel, taking my toes under. So feel out how much weight you want to settle into your heels and your toes. And then we're going to add in a little opener for the wrists. So keeping your hips back, it'll take some of the weight off of the heels here, but we're going to bring the hands down, fingers facing back, okay? And from there, just allowing yourself to roll a little bit forward and back on the wrists. You can bend into the elbows, and we're kind of peeling the palms of the hands off of the floor, and then use your breath. So don't forget to send your breath into sensation, to breathe deeply. Again, you might find some wiggly movements here. That's all welcome. All righty, let's take out the hands for a moment. Just let them shake side to side and up and down. And then we're going to untuck the toes and sit back onto the heels. And for some of you, that is very challenging, right? So you can take a folded up towel or a block even, just to take some of that off, or you can use your hands. But if it's okay for your knees and okay for your ankles and okay for your shins, the next stage of this one is to lean back a little bit. So you use your fingertips behind you for a moment to lift the knees. And now we're opening into the fronts of the ankles. So a few breaths like that, or you might even play with a little balance. What happens if you take the hands off the earth? You can take them around to the fronts of your shins. You might even play a little bit in your offset balance, like you're lifting and lowering one knee and then the other. You're kind of walking on the fronts of your ankles. Okay, not here for too long. Just another breath. And then up and over again. All right, let's kind of knock out through the ankles and the shins. You might even rotate through your feet, lifting them off of the earth. Beautiful. Now you'll see why we opened that up here in just a moment. So we're going to do a variation of a cat-cow. This time inhale, lifting the head to tail. On the exhale, we're going to lift the knees coming up onto the fronts of the feet. Lowering your knees, inhale. Exhale. You can choose your lift here, how much you press into the hands, into the feet, how much you lift your knees. Let's lower it down. 2 more like that. Exhale, lift. Engaging through the core here. Last time like that. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to settle into our cat-cow, and we'll do one that's probably a bit more familiar for a lot of you. So we're going to take the left leg back, the right arm forward. Little balance here for a moment, just feeling what needs to happen to hold this shape. And then we'll find some movement, taking right elbow and knee under the body, making contact. Inhale to reach. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, reach. 1 more like that. Inhale, reach, and here's where it gets extra funky. We're going to bend through the right elbow. I'll see if I can show this in this direction. We're going to bend in the elbow. We're going to bend in the knee so that we go from here to here, okay? So we've got a little cactus shape for my Tucson friend here, right? The cactus shape in the right arm, the left leg. Let's inhale, reach. Exhale. 1 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Pause here for a moment, just feeling what's needed in your body to balance in this very awkward, edgy shape. And then let's reach. Settle, hand and knee to the earth. Maybe a little free flow for a moment, just integrating that through. And we will find it on side 2. So this time it is the right leg, left arm, right? And we can pause here for a moment, finding your balance. You might even turn your palm in like you're going to shake someone's hand. You can flex your foot. So looking at how little micro adjustments in the shape change it. And then under the body, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, contract. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Let's get funky. Exhale, bending the elbow, bending the knee to the side. Inhale, reach. Exhale, a little balance play. Inhale, reach. Exhale, let's hold it to the side this time. Just a few breaths here. Making sure you're breathing. Good. And then let's reach. And exhale, hand and knee to the earth. Wiggle it out. Great. Okay. One more balance play from here. This time we're going to inhale, right arm up overhead. Maybe roll your wrist for a moment. And then on an exhale, right arm under your body, shoulder releases. And we'll use that left hand just to help us find a little bit of stability as we send the left leg back. Now you can keep your toes on the floor, or you might explore what happens if you lift your left leg up. Fun place to play, right? Now this might be plenty for you, or you might explore what happens if you lift your left arm. Now the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to roll over that right shoulder and you'll end up on your back. The floor is close. Or you might explore what happens if you balance here. It helps to drop that left shoulder down a little bit and flex that left foot, rotating it downward. Okay, let's take that back to the earth, knee and hand. Unwind it all the way up, rotate the wrist, and settle back to your table. We know we have side two, and if rolling to your back felt a little edgy, just feel it out, find your appropriate edge. Let's take side two. Lifting through the left arm, it might rotate the wrist, and then exhale under and through. We're going to ground that right hand, maybe take the right leg back. That might be plenty, or you might lift the right foot. You might stay there, or you might lift through the right arm. And when you've had enough, planting the hand, the knee, let's unwind the spine and rotate the wrist one more time. Beautiful. Okay, let's place the hands on the ground, finding one more cat-cow here, lifting head, tail. Exhale, arching it up. And then curling the toes under this time. Let's send the hips back for a downward facing dog. And as you arrive in this shape, maybe you walk it out. Make it yours. And I'll offer up a few variations of our down dog because they'll be instrumental for our playtime today. So from here, we're going to bend the knees, and then we're going to drop the heels towards the right side. So just a deep knee bend, and you're sending your hips back towards your heels in this deep knee bend. And then let's come back through center. And we're going to take it the other way, bending the knees, dropping the heels to the left, toes are to the right. We're bending deeply, sending the hips towards the heels. And coming back through center. Just a few more of those in your own time, in your own breath. Exploring side to side. It's like you're skiing. Good. And then from here, let's come back to center. And I'll invite you to lift through one leg. So let's take the right leg back behind you. And in this three-legged shape, take a moment just to acclimate here. You might need to adjust the width of your stance a little. I like to flex that right foot, imagining I'm going to put a footprint on the back wall here. So it's really reaching that leg long. And then keeping the right leg strong, I'll invite you to transition your weight forward through your left foot. So we're coming into a plank, a one-legged plank, a little balance shape here. Ooh, that's a lot, right? And then we'll send the weight back, pressing into the hands, coming into your three-legged dog. Let's do that one more time. Shifting the weight forward. A little balance. Now you can always drop that knee. You're like, okay, I want my knee down. Good. It's close. The ground's close. Let's press back up, downward dog. This time we're going to gaze forward. We're going to bend the right knee forward and through, stepping into a low lunge. And we'll just move a little bit in our low lunge. So you can bend forward into the lunge. You can press back, greet your hamstring. You might even walk your hands back a little bit. Flex through that right foot and walk forward again. You might walk back and forward. And eventually I'll invite us all to lower that left knee back down to the mat. So as we've lowered down, let's walk our hands up on top of the right shin. And you can come in and out of your lunge in this manner. Maybe greeting your left hip flexor. The psoas is going to wake up in this. Good. And now here's where the wiggle fun comes. So we're going to send our weight back into the left shin and lift your right heel. Now, whoa, there's some balance happening already. Okay, you can stay right there, or you might play with me here in taking the right foot all the way off the earth in what we can call praying mantis, okay? And just allowing yourself to imagine that that left shin is on a little bit of a slack line or a tightrope here, and your kind of arms are that nice broad pole that's helping you find balance. Woo, right? And hey, if you fall, ground's not too far. We're good. Let's place that right foot back on the earth. We're going to bring the hands down and we'll greet that left shin and ankle once again by taking the left knee up. So top of the foot's on the earth, left knee lifts. This might be plenty, or some of you might want to walk the hands on top of the right knee. Some of you might even bring the arms up overhead as you stack shoulders over hips. There is no better or worse, no right, no wrong, just places to play and explore how your body greets the edge. When you feel complete, we will bring hands to the earth, knee to the earth, and draw right foot back to meet the left. We'll make our way into down dog. Just a breath here. And pressing the hips back. Good. From the down dog, let's find that little twisted knee bend shape. So we'll drop the heels right, bend the knees, hips are drawing towards the heels. Coming through center, let's get to the other side. Knees bend, hips drop towards the heels. One more time each side. And then coming to center, downward dog. This time we lift through the left leg. A little pause here. Flexing through that left foot, dropping the hip so that it's in line with the right hip. Now, it's not about perfecting something, it's about noticing what happens when we change the subtle alignment and how that might translate into the sensation down your right leg, for example. Keeping that firm engagement, left leg is strong. We're going to roll towards the front of the right ball of the foot. We're taking the shoulders forward into a three-legged plank. Wow, find your strength here. The inner thighs are lit up again, and then let's press back. So part of what we're doing, and we can press forward once again, is we're really hugging to midline for these shapes. It's just like when we were balancing in tabletop, right? Feel that core strength, and then let's press back, Through downward dog with the one leg lifted. We're going to gaze forward. We're going to bend the left knee this time. Let's step forward and through. And once you've arrived in your low lunge, just a few breaths in and out. Your body, your playtime. Might even bend through that back knee and lengthen through the front leg. And then shift it out. Good. Eventually dropping right knee and shin to the earth. And then we'll walk the hands up on this side. You can come forward and back here, greeting the right hip flexor. Again, this side might have a different story to tell, might have different needs as a result. And if you'd like, we can begin to explore our balance. We start by taking that left heel and lifting it. When we play there, maybe you shift your weight a little further back into the right shin and the left foot comes off the ground altogether. And we wiggle and we wobble. We've had a lot of wiggles and wobbles this whole last year, haven't we? And all of these ways that we micro adjust has allowed us to find more flexibility than perhaps we realized we had in us. Okay, let's plant that left foot down. Maybe you've already fallen over. That's all good. Let's come on down, hands to the earth. And then from here, we're going to explore maybe lifting that right knee. So again, we're on the top of the right foot, greeting into that right ankle. Maybe you stay with hands on the earth or walk hands to that front knee. Maybe you stack hips over the shoulders and draw arms overhead. Finding your breath in whichever shape you have taken. And on an exhale, settling to the earth. Let's take the left knee back down. We'll curl the toes under and press the hips back. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take a gaze forward in a nice, lingering, luxurious walk to the front of your mat. Lots of little steps to get there. And once we arrive, let's take a ragdoll shape, bending through your knees. Arms can be heavy, maybe pinkies to elbow creases or hands just flopping onto the floor. You can bring the floor closer with a block, right? Just making it yours always. A lovely place to sigh it out again. Ah. Nod it yes, shake it no. Okay, we're going to take a willful transition to standing, right? There's always this dance of will and surrender in our yoga. So let's bend through the knees. I'm going to keep my feet hip width apart for this transition. You feel it out for what's right for your body. And we're going to make the upper body kind of parallel to the floor. We're going to draw the arms back. So this is our kind of strength training for standing, right? If we think about all of the core muscles needed to hold this shape, and maybe for a few seconds, no biggie, but the longer we hold it, the more you'll feel it. You might even shake a little bit. Now, if you can imagine you have a block between your inner thighs, we're going to engage that, hugging toward midline. And then from here, maybe you take the arms forward. So we're changing the fulcrum of our balance here. And you might shift the weight a little more into the heels, maybe your toes even lift. Gazing down, feeling a little shake, that's good. And then we're gonna press into the feet to come all the way up to standing. Releasing the arms, letting that go. So some of you who've taken with me for a while know this next little sequence. It's one of my favorites. There's a mini version of it that some of you may have done on YouTube, but we're going to roll through all of the joints in the body. And this practice is just really lovely for mobilizing and keeping us fluid. So we'll start with your right ankle. And we've been already kind of playing into the ankle mobility and strength today. We'll just roll it a few times in one direction, then the other. It's a nice practice to kind of catch your breath from those last few if you're breathing heavy. All right, let's shift weight into that foot and roll it out through the other side, one direction, and the other direction. Good. And for this next one, we're going to get into the knees. It's helpful to step the feet together. And we're going to rotate the knees in one direction and the other way. Good. And then we're going to step it wide. So a little wider than hip width apart for this one. And we're going to take the hips. Now these might be very small hip circles in one direction, or you might take it wider. The upper body might even come into the hip circles. And then we'll go the other direction, maybe the small circles, or maybe large circles, upper body involved in there. And as we mobilize all the joints in the body, we don't want to forget that the spine is filled with all those little joints in the vertebrae. So we're going to undulate the spine. Again, I like my feet about hip width or so apart. And then we're just going to undulate from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And it's not so much about what this feels like or looks like, it's about what it feels like, right? So letting it feel good. If you find a little place that feels like it's moving in a chunk rather than like a pearl necklace with each pearl having its own mobility, just send some undulation right into that spot where it feels a little constricted, and then let it come all the way through the spine. And then we'll lift up to standing and we'll rotate through the shoulders. Rotating them back and forward. Some of you might explore taking one back and the other forward. I really can't do that very well. It's really a very weird thing to do, but you know, play with it. Maybe you shimmy in the shoulders. How good shimmies are. And now let's get into the elbows. Taking them in one direction and the other. And then rotating through the wrists. Even the fingers can articulate, and it starts to feel like a dance, right? Or sometimes I like to think of this as being a sea creature moving with the currents. And then we can start to put it all together, right? So you can let your head come into the mix. You can allow your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your hips, your knees, your ankles, letting it all go. There's something here about kind of letting go of control, right? Not needing to have it all figured out. Good. And we're going to come into a little bit of balance play with this all in mind. So from here, I'll invite you to, I'm going to face this side, I'll invite you to lift up, let your weight come into the right foot, begin to lift that left foot. Now you can always keep the toes on the ground, or you might explore how it feels to do some of this balance mobilization, right? So we might take the leg forward. You might even lean back. Hey, if you fall, the ground's not that far away. It's okay. It's practice time. And maybe explore taking that leg to the side like we did in that cactus arm and leg in the tabletop, en route to taking it behind you, and we'll find a little airplane, a little flight time falling up, right? Don't get too dizzy, don't get nauseous, no queasy falling up, just a fun, playful falling up. And then maybe we take that leg back around the side, woo, and forward. Maybe you kick that left foot forward, lean the heart back, whoa, and then 2 feet on the earth. Let's shake it out. Shake out that right ankle especially. Good. Let's find the other side. So your left leg becomes your root, your ground, and you can take that right foot, maybe rotate the ankle, maybe begin to feel how that can stay fluid in all the joints of your body. Maybe you take the foot forward, a little lean back. Maybe we take it around to the side. Whoa. And behind. Exploring the balance play here. Let the left knee be soft. Let yourself continue to move. It's not about finding a shape and staying there. It's about being in motion. Maybe the leg comes back around through the side, back forward. We can kick the foot out. Maybe lean back a little bit. Wow, where's the edge? Okay. And back to the earth. And as we arrive on the earth, I'll invite a transition down to a malasana, a squat. And if that's too much for the knees, you can come onto seated on something or just simply sitting cross-legged. But if a malasana works for you, just taking your hands to the insides of your thighs for a moment, really feeling your feet, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, long spine, and breath can settle for a moment. Beautiful. Now, from Malasana, we're going to take one of my favorite transitions up to standing, and some of you have done this with me. So we're going to imagine that we're that little toddler standing up for the first time. Wow, what a big evolution. This is a huge transition, right? We press into the feet, we reach with the hands, let the legs really feel this transition, and you made it. I can see you there. Beautiful. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up overhead. Maybe turn towards the front of your mat if you're not there. And exhale, let's find a forward fold. Let's just flow this through. Inhale, finding a halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, planting your hands. We'll step back to a high plank. And from here, let's take the knees down. Let's bend the elbows, take the chest down, the chin down, pausing for a moment. Hips stay lifted. And on an exhale, descending all the way to the earth and allowing yourself to prepare for a few rolling cobras. Palms underneath your shoulders. And inhale. Now, maybe no hands here for this first one, just feeling the strength of the backside of your core, the legs hugging towards each other, and exhale down. And then your choice, if you want to place the hands down, a little weight in the hands, lifting up a little higher, exhale down. One more, your own variation. And then through tabletop, to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to lift that right leg again, just like we did before. We'll transition forward into plank, just as we've been. You might stay right here, or you might play with lifting onto the left fingertips, or you might play with reaching that left arm forward. Whoa, 2 points of contact. Feel the core, feel the wobble, and then let's place the hand, the foot down. It's just a visit. Pressing back, downward dog. Inhale, lifting through the left leg. Exhale, pressing forward, high plank. Maybe staying right here. You can always lower your knee, right? You can do this as we've done it. We've been here before. Or maybe staying lifted on the toe, coming to right fingertips, or maybe lifting the right hand. A little wobble, a wiggle, a shake, and then placing the hand, the foot, and pressing back, downward facing dog. Good. From here, we're going to take an interesting little variation, and I'll try and show it from a few angles. We're going to draw the right leg back and behind. This time we're going to exhale, stepping it to the outside of the right hand, so it's nice and wide, okay? We're in a nice wide stance. And let's just start by kind of greeting your body in this stance. So you can, again, wiggle a little bit forward and back. You can bend the back knee and lift. And then I'll invite you to kind of walk that right foot even a little further, and we're going to turn the right toes to the right. And here's where we might get into a little bit of that arm strength here. So we're going to turn the body towards the right, and then maybe lift through that right arm. So we've got a twist shape here. Take some strength. It's okay, you'll build it, right? If this is your first time and you're going, I'm not there yet, keep practicing, it'll build. All right, we're going to come back forward, and we're going to walk that right foot even a little further out, and maybe a little bit towards the back, right? Shorten that stance just a little. And here's where it's going to get funky, okay? Get funky with me. It's like break dancing. We're going to lift that right hand, and we're going to take the left knee forward. Whoa, right? See it from this angle. Left knee forward, right hand makes contact with the knee under your body. So it's like what we did in table, right? Crossing elbow to knee, but we're in a wider, different stance. We're up on the hand instead of, right? You know, we're just in a different place. We're on the foot instead of the knee. Try it one more time. Good. Let's place both hands down, step right foot back to meet the left. Maybe a brief pause, just settle your knees. You can settle your hips back. Let your head be heavy. More rest to come soon. Let's find side two. Let's come up through table, press back to down dog. This time as we lift the left leg, we're going to step to the outside of the left hand, okay? Nice and wide. Maybe just a few breaths here, greeting this shape in your body, finding your mobility. And then we're going to turn that foot, take it a little wider. We're going to roll onto the outer edge of the right foot, and then maybe open up that left arm. Strength, freedom, expansion, play, growth. And we'll plant that right hand down. So here's our really funky move here, right? You can allow yourself just to prepare, imagining even first that you're bringing your right knee forward and you go, whoa, how am I doing that, right? And then try it. Just a few times, get that move in your body. All righty. Last time. Planting the hand. Stepping left foot back to meet the right. Downward dog. And from downward dog, gazing forward. We're going to make our way to the front of the mat. You get to choose how you want to arrive there. Maybe through a little crouching tiger, a little pounce forward, or you can take your walk forward, or a nice wide step. We'll meet there. All right, so it's all about finding the edge, the play. And from the forward fold at the top of the mat, we will inhale halfway. Exhale, fold it in. And inhale all the way up to standing. From here, we'll bend through the knees and sweep the arms back. Variation in Utkatasana. Maybe if you like, taking your hands, clasping them behind your back and opening through the heart. Now this is plenty right here. And for those of you that want to add on, maybe rolling onto the balls of the feet, lifting your heels. Your hips might settle in a little lower, lifting your heart a little higher. And if you fall out of it, ground's not that far. You're going to be okay. Lowering the heels, freeing the hands, inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, sweeping the arms back. We're going to move with the legs. Inhale, take your left leg with you. Little balance play. Exhale, left foot reaches the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms, the right foot comes along. Just a few more side to side. A little brain integration work here, huh? Good. Let's do one more each side. I lost count. Maybe we're done. Okay, let's sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands your way to downward dog. You can hop back, you can step back, right? If you're hopping back, land with bent elbows. Let's find a little heart opener if you'd like, cobra or upward facing dog, your choice. We'll meet in downward dog. So we'll put a few of these little play pieces together. So we're going to press back, bend the knees, curling them to the right and curling them to the left. From that position, hips are to the left, knees are toward the right. So join me there for a second. I want you to gaze to the outside of your right hand, and we're going to step that right foot forward. And we can do that again. Knees bent, step right foot forward outside the right hand. Good. We're going to add that little twist. Just open the heart. We're visiting that shape. And exhale, planting the hand. Let's walk the right foot to the center. Now, scanning down at your feet. Feet are hip width or so apart, so we're not quite on a slack line. And then we're going to open up, finding a twisted, a little twist in a crescent lunge. So on the back toes, opening the arms. And then let's come back forward. Inhale to your crescent. Exhale, palm to palm in front of your heart. Lovely. Maybe lifting your right heel. Whoa. Maybe lifting your whole right foot. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, stay here. Let's descend the right foot. Let's open it up to warrior two. You can lift and lower out of warrior two, just a breath or two. greeting this shape, and then we'll arrive. I'll invite you today to turn your palms up, a little gesture of receiving here. Maybe gazing over the right palm. And if you'd like, if you've got it in you, maybe lifting your right heel. All right, let's reach away from the right bent leg. You can keep that heel lifted if you want, and we'll take a floating extended side angle. So we're not coming all the way down, we're just finding that play, especially if that right heel is lifted. And then let's descend the heel, reverse into Trikonasana, lengthen the right leg, and long, long reach, rotating the arms. And finding your way into a more familiar shape for many of us. And softening through the right knee, inhale, we'll lift up. Exhale, both hands to the inside of the right foot. Walking that right foot out wide, just like we did before. We're going to prepare for our little funky knee to elbow under the body. So knee, elbow, meet. Let's do it again. This time, stay here. And then maybe, and I'll try and show it from a few angles, maybe from here, letting your hips move toward the floor and kick that left foot through. Whoa, right? Here to here and back. I'll show it from here if you're still playing with me on that. Congratulations. Knee and hand, hips lower, kicking the foot, maybe hand to heart or hand reaches. Let's step back, shake it all out, downward dog. Woo. Walk it out. And let's do a mini rest between sides. Lower the knees, lower the hips, lower the head. Settling, letting go of any lingering tension that arises in the challenge, knowing that when we have opportunities to rest, we must take them, right? And it's so important to deeply rest, to let go of the unnecessary. And then when you are ready, we've got a side two here. So let's find our way in. Grounding through the hands, pressing the hips back. This time it's the left leg that we lift. And we're going to lower it down because I want to take us through from that bent knee transition. So let's bend through the knees and bend through the knees the other way. We're going to end with the knees bending towards the left. Then you can free that left leg, stepping forward. Right? You can do that again. Knees bent, stepping forward to the outside. And just that little opening here. You can turn the feet, open the heart. Now we settle the hand. You can toe heel that left foot in. Feet are hip widths or so apart. And now we'll begin to walk up into crescent lunge. Inhale. Taking it to the twist. This time it's over the bent knee to the left. And then through center. You might take hands to heart. Maybe you lift the left heel. A little balance. And like a star, let's plant the foot and burst open to the right. Allowing yourself to come in and out of that warrior two for a moment. And then settling, palms might open towards the sky. Maybe you lift that left heel. And we'll reach away. And we'll reach toward the bent leg, finding your variation here. Just an opening, a reach, an expansion, a challenge. And then descending left heel, reaching away, lengthening through that left leg. And long reach, 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 rotate into your triangle, Trikonasana. You might gaze up or down. Arriving. Slowly softening through the left knee. Inhale through warrior two. And exhale to the inside of your left leg. All right, you can toe heel that foot a little wide. Really letting yourself just get ready for whatever's going to happen next. We don't know. Join the unknown. Left hand, left knee. Maybe again, maybe this time the hip lowers as the right foot. Well, it's the right foot, whichever leg it is, hand it is, right foot kicks through. Let's play it again, right? Right foot back, left knee free, left hand free, greets the right knee, right hip lowers a little, kicking that right foot through. Woo! How fun. All right, stepping back. I hope it's fun. Keep it fun, right? Left foot steps back. Allowing yourself to just breathe, greet this shape. We're going to find one more little variation, just a short variation flow, and we'll make our way to the earth. This time, drawing the right leg back and behind, we're going to take the right knee toward the left elbow, and we're going to turn. So you can now take, very similar, but left foot is long, left foot is grounded, and we're going to take that right foot through, place it onto the earth, fall in triangle, maybe a little lift as you press into right hand, left foot, open the heart, and then let's settle onto the earth. We're going to bend both knees into deer. And then just breathing. A little micro movements here as you settle in and out of deer. You can shift left hip forward and back. And then maybe walking your hands a little reach of the heart over that right shin. Just allowing yourself to explore in your body what supports you. And we'll extend that left leg long now. So we've been in this shape. We did this very early on into Ajna Shirsasana. This time just a little bit of a more restorative version, a softer, lingering version in as you descend over your left leg. Just noticing what's changed in your practice. How you have grown, how you got bigger, how you got smaller, and as a result, what's changed? Maybe you can let your head be heavy here, neck soft. And then slowly unrolling. We're going to take this into the side. Again, we've been here. It's greeting. Left arm can be on the inside of the left leg. Maybe you flex that left foot. You could take the right hand by the hip or maybe up and over. Some of you might, go all the way down and grasp your foot, but that doesn't matter, right? It's feeling into it. Let it expand and open you. Breathe into the places that are contracted. Greet them, love them, listen. And then we'll come up and out. We're going to plant that right hand. We're going to roll onto right shin and foot, left foot, and just a little opening into gate. And soften. We'll make our way back to downward dog. We've got one more side to go here. I'll go this way on my mat. It'll land me in the right place here. So in downward dog, we'll free the left leg. And this time we're taking left knee towards the right elbow. You can take your weight into left hand. Greet that right knee. Okay, let's do it again. Just finding your way in. We're turning that back heel, taking the left knee. You can kick the foot through. You can place the foot down and then press into it all. Fallen triangle. And settling to the earth for deer. We bend both knees and taking a moment, just greeting this shape, subtle movements, listening in. Yeah. And then we're going to walk ourselves over that front shin for a moment. Just a few breaths, greeting your left hip. And then we'll walk it up on this side. And shifting weight into your left hip as you take the right leg to the outside. So from here, allowing yourself to turn the torso toward the right leg and begin to walk yourself forward. This forward fold in a gesture of surrendering to the unknown as a great teacher. And slowly we lift. We're going to rotate the upper body, might widen the stance. And once again, side body opener as we draw right shoulder towards the right knee, left arm up overhead. And your range of motion, your variation, fluid like a sea creature, moving with the currents. One last time, we'll find a gentle lift. Left hand presses down onto left shin, right foot, lifting the heart. And exhale. We settle. Drawing both knees out in front this time. Maybe a brief pause here, just a little hug of yourself around your shins. Head can be heavy. Maybe you rock a little side to side. Some self-love, and we'll take that all the way down onto the mat. If you need a little blanket or a layer here as we prepare to come into a final rest, allowing yourself this transition as however you need to take it, and knowing that arriving onto your back, You might discover a few final movements that want to happen for you, right? So if you get here and you go, oh, I wanted this, I wanted that, give it to yourself. Maybe it's a bridge pose. Maybe it's a happy baby. Maybe it's a figure four. Maybe it's a shape that has no known Sanskrit name, no known yoga posture in the existing universe, and you're going to make it up because it's how your body wants to move in this moment. And when you feel complete, when you have given yourself the gift of honoring each nook and cranny, each sensation, then allow yourself some time in a deep, restful shape. I'll invite a Shavasana with legs long, arms by your side, but knowing that you can always go to a legs up the wall or a Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined cobblers, whatever is going to support you to receive your practice. Once again, as we settle into the resting shape, this is an opportunity to scan your body, to notice any unnecessary holding, and to see if with your breath you can encourage your eyes to soften, your lips, your tongue, allowing your jaw to release. Even your brain, the thoughts in your brain, no efforting for just a few minutes, simply receiving. Allowing your shoulders, your chest, your heart, heavy, open and receiving. Your diaphragm and your belly, soft. Your hips, heavy. All the muscles in your legs, knees, ankles, feet, toes, soft here. We've done so much today. Let that integrate. Underneath my outside face, there's a face that none can see, a little less smiley, a little less sure, but a whole lot more like me. And my greatest hope in these kinds of practices is that not only can we start to see the unmasked face, but we can begin to reveal that to others as we really open up our relationship to the world, to our communities. That inside of that whole lot more like you, there's a precious gift to give. Knowing that you can stay in your Shavasana, or if you are longing to, ready to transition back up to sitting, allowing yourself to find some gentle movements on your way, deepening the breath, wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe rotating hands around the wrists, feet around the ankles. And gently, lovingly making your way back upright. Taking a moment just to receive this recognition that we changed, right? In just a short hour and a half, we've changed. Who are you now? And from the great honoring of the light and unknown within me, I bow to the great honoring of the light and the unknown in each of you. Namaste.